As body relax, your mind started to calm down. And we're going to begin the meditation with 3 conscious breath, fully attention. So with full attention of the 3 deep breaths. The awareness of the breath unite our mind and body and arrive in this present moment. When we let go of the past, carry out the guilt or revisit our past, or worrying about future, just stay in this present moment. Just one single mindful breath already bring us surprisingly amount of freedom. Because we are fully aware of the breathing, we stay present. Each mindful breath generates mindful energy. So we've been busy, stressed because of the festive season. So when we breathe in, the stress is there, the unpleasant feeling is there. So breathing out, we say hello to the unpleasantness. Breathing in, the stress is still there. Breathing out, we make peace. Breathing in, whatever feeling, sensation that you experience right now. Breathing out, we say thank you. Thank you, breath, keeping me alive. Being appreciative of every single breath that we breathe in, because it gives us life. Be appreciative of every single breath that we breathe in. And we make peace with the breath. We're going to end the meditation by counting 3 in and out breath, and you can open your eyes.